In the process ongoing of investigating resources that are helpful in your major or field of interest, this week we'll look at the academic journal databases. It probably makes sense that you need to know how to use these in school. Depending on your career, you very likely will use these kinds of resources in your working life. I know from my experience working in a medical library that health professionals constantly use databases such as CINAHL to stay current with modes of treatment and new research. As a musician working with computer music, I keep up with new software and ways of processing sound by searching for relevant articles in music databases. There's almost no field of work that does not rely on the kind of scholarly conversation that happens thanks to academic journals. A couple of questions arise at this point. One, what's a database? A database is a collection of information. An example is your contact directory on your phone. When we use the term in libraries, we usually refer to an online index of journal articles. So what's a journal? It's a publication that comes out periodically. The word journal comes from the French word jour, which means day. So originally a journal, a journal, was the term for a newspaper that was published daily. What's a book? For a quick explanation, take a look at the short video titled The Difference Between Books and Journals. So here is an article that I wrote in a journal named Notes. While we usually access journal articles online, most of them exist in printed form as well. Notes comes out 4 times a year. This is a book that I co-edited that was published just once in 2012. We spent about 2 years getting this from an idea to a published reality. As you watch and read the material for this week, you'll gain an understanding of the differences between information written for the general public and information written for specialists. Each one of us is both a member of the general public and a specialist in our own fields of knowledge. We need different sorts of information to meet the needs of a particular question or project. To complete part 1 of this week's assignment, you'll explore the database named Academic Search Complete. Before you answer the questions in part 1, please watch both the Academic Search Complete overview video and the Prezi presentation about citations. I've come to understand citations as a way of showing respect for the researcher and writers, both respect for myself and for other people's work. Of course, I want to avoid plagiarizing, but honoring the community of researchers is a much more honorable reason for citing well. In case you wonder, the word plagiarize comes from a Latin noun, plagiarius. A plagiarius was not just an ordinary criminal, but a kidnapper. You'll see that I ask you to cite using MLA or APA or Chicago-Turabian style. MLA stands for the Modern Language Association, APA for the American Psychological Association. Those are professional associations, just like the ones we explored in Week 3. Chicago-Turabian style is the format developed by the University of Chicago Press, where Kate L. Turabian wrote the Chicago Manual of Style. In important ways, citing correctly in a particular style is like knowing the proper way to dress for a job interview. It shows that you fit into that community. Also, it lets your reader pay attention to the information in your citation instead of calling attention to your mistakes. I assure you that citing gets easier and easier the more you practice it. In part 2 of this week's assignment, you'll find information about both the library subject specialists in your field and find 2 databases that are relevant to your study and career. I recommend watching the video Finding Subject-Specific Databases before you work on part 2. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for your work.